Time and time again, some of the fastest growing Amazon sellers use this exact method that we're going to break down today. Because when you first start selling on Amazon, there's two different ways that you can source and sell your products on Amazon. You can do Amazon FBA, which is where you ship to Amazon and they ship to the customers for you. Or you can do Amazon FBM, which is where when an order sells, you get to ship it directly to the customer. And now that shortens the lead time or the lag time between when you buy an item and when you can actually make a sale. So a ton of the smartest Amazon sellers I know started their Amazon business with Amazon FBM and scaled massively because you're able to test products quicker, make sales faster, and just prove the concept much faster to yourself. So with that in mind, let's jump into the computer over here and we're going to source some products that we can specifically sell via Amazon FBM because not all products are good for this fulfillment method. To start understanding how this works, I pulled up an example of a product that we know is sold at Target. Goodfellow & Company is a Target private label brand. You can repeat this exact process, but what we're looking for is items where when we scroll down on SellerAmp, you can see the buy box analysis right here. This is showing me exactly over the last however long I want to see, 30, 90, 100 days, what sellers have won the buy box and exactly what their prices have been. So you can see here on the 90-day buy box rotation, I can see that just now this seller sold this item for $32 and they were an FBM seller. Some items on Amazon, a lot of the sales go to FBA sellers. So it's important to do a quick check on the SellerAmp buy box stats before you source something that you're wanting to sell via Amazon FBM. But in this example, you can see a ton of these sellers here are FBM sellers. Good mix of FBA versus FBM as well. If you ever see a listing where it's all FBA, you can still sell that item. Just keep in mind that you'll have to sell that on Amazon FBA. And it's probably going to be hard for you to get buy box rotation. In other words, just winning that add to cart button that Amazon shows to customers. Another thing to think about as we're sourcing products, like I said, we're going to source some of these products live. We'll see what we can find together. Just think about the fact that instead of using the typical Amazon FBA fee calculator on SellerAmp, you will want to toggle this to FBM. And then on the FBM cost, you'll want to enter your estimated shipping cost for an item this size. So to ship, this is probably going to cost somewhere around $7 to $9, depending on how far it's going. Next time you get an FBM order, just start plugging in a bunch of dimensions, weights, get a feel for some typical cost breakdowns as far as weights and dimensions on Amazon FBM. It is slightly discounted compared to a lot of the rates that you might see directly at a USPS or a FedEx, that kind of thing as well. So keep that in mind. And so when you have those estimates, you'll just go ahead and plug in. This is going to cost me $8 to ship. Plug it in right there, and then you'll know your accurate profit and loss. So with that in mind, let's take this quick example of a product that is FBM friendly. And we can see there's 32 other Amazon FBM sellers on this listing where we can go in and see based on the ideas that they have already had. We know that they're buying some products from Target. So the chances that they're buying items from other websites where we're going to be able to also figure out where they're getting it from, it's going to be pretty high, right? So, and we'll start opening up anything that seems interesting. In this case, I'm seeing some video games where the price is going down recently. I'm seeing some controllers here. Could be interesting. I don't want to show you a $500 electronics, anything like that, just as a starting example. Let's see. So a polo shirt, we can check that out. We've got a pair of pants. 32 Degrees is a brand that's auto ungated for a lot of you new sellers if you're wanting to get started. So you can keep that in mind. Let's see. So we need to buy this for $19 for it to be profitable. In this case, I can see like the cheapest I'm seeing is really like $35. So I don't see us getting a coupon that makes this item profitable. This, however, I can see, let's see. Yeah, so this is $12, and then on Amazon we need to buy these for about $10.70. So this particular size might not be profitable, but just based on the fact that this one size is almost profitable, so yeah, if we plug in $12, we're not quite making much profit there. Do another quick check just for the sake of example. You can see, so 13 hours ago an FBM seller made sales. A few days ago an FBM seller made sales. So this is a pretty FBM seller friendly listing. Usually I'm just looking for a couple people showing up on that buy box rotation there. Typically that means it'll be something that you're able to resell. In this case, I want to see if there's any other specific variations on this listing that are a lot more profitable. So that's where I'm going to open Keepa just to look at variations a little bit easier here. And I can see a lot of different prices and sizes, that kind of thing. And what colors do we have over here? So we have this rose color. Is this what we're looking for? They're calling that fig. Let's see, heather. Okay, cool. So we have a lot of them in black. Let's see. And then there's also peacock. Do we have peacock? Nope. Let's see. Let's just look for black then. Okay, cool. So right here, this is $32 and we have the black ones already sourced. Let's see. The XLs would be profitable. So we're buying, those are $29. And then going one size smaller, it seems like the buy box on these is $29. So those would be the ones that would be somewhat interesting if these are FBM buy box friendly. Initially, you can see this ships from Amazon. It doesn't ship from a third-party seller. So just for this example, we'd want to see if there are some sales on the buy box rotation. And I can see, let's see. So yeah, there's some FBM sales recently. And then you can also see when I'm checking it out on Keepa, you can see how the buy box shows FBM when it's blue. So you can see this seller was making making some FBM buy box sales at $40 like a couple days ago. So that shows me, hey, I can sell this for 12 bucks right now. It's $32. And then very recently, some FBM sellers are making sales at $40. So this would be something I could probably pick up 5 or 10 units of and list via FBM and try to make some sales. All right, this is a lot more interesting, right? So you can see this ships from this company right here and it's sold by that company. So this is an FBM seller. I don't even have to dig into the buy box rotation or anything like that to know that we'd be able to sell this for 29 bucks, sourcing this for $12. So let's go ahead and just do a double check and make sure we're profitable after shipping. So this isn't even a pound. So under a pound, we're probably going to pay $6 or so, $5 or $6 for this. Let's say even worst case, we pay $7. That's still a 37% ROI. And in this case, I'm definitely all over that. So on this, we're going to make anywhere from $6 to $4, depending on how much shipping ends up costing. You can also see that price has been a lot higher recently too. So it seems like our worst case scenario is the profit we're making right now. And this sells over 50 times a month. So I'm definitely interested in picking up 10 units of those right there. We'd be able to list these on Amazon directly via FBM. And then basically the only thing that changes when you're making sales, whether you're listing that on Boxem through Seller Central, that kind of thing, is you're not going to have to go through the process of making a whole FBA shipment. No FNSKU labels, nothing like that is needed. You just list it. And then when the item sells, it'll show up on Amazon Seller Essential and you just buy your shipping on there. That's pretty straightforward. But now that we found one FBM buy box friendly listing, let's just keep it rolling and see if we can find anything else. So let's see, they got like this Blu-ray, something like that we could check out. Let's see, we got some DVDs right here. A lot of these are kind of random items, I'd say, but let's just do a quick check. So this is selling for 70 bucks. Let's see if this is FBM friendly because I do think that this looks profitable. So yeah, so 32 bucks at Walmart. Make sure it's in stock and it's not from a third-party seller. Okay, this is from a third-party seller. So if you're ever sourcing on Walmart or other marketplaces that allow third-party sellers, make sure you buy directly from the retailer. Amazon tends to not like the invoices of third-party sellers. They just want to see that you're buying directly from Amazon. So let's see this right here, 55 bucks. Let's see, is this from a third-party seller? So it seems like a lot of these like DVDs and that kind of thing are from a third-party seller. So maybe some of you guys want to get into this niche. It seems like a lot of these are very FBM friendly. Like none of these even have an FBA seller. Let's just do a quick check. Let's see, 38 bucks. And yeah, also from third-party sellers. So it seems like a lot of third-party sellers are crushing it on these DVDs here. But just to keep the train rolling, let's check out a different storefront on here and see what other products we can find. So let's go ahead and dig into one of these other stores and we can see again, usually I like to look at stores that have no more than like 100, 200 feedback, especially if we're looking for FBM buy box friendly listings. Starting with some pretty new sellers is a good place to look, I'd say. And then we can also specifically focus on brands that we know are fairly easy to get ungated or even auto ungated. Jockey is a brand that I know is pretty fairly straightforward to get ungated. Let's check some of these out. You can buy this for 17. See, so a lot of these are like the same kind of vibe here. Those are, you get those for 19. How much are these showing up at? Okay, so 4-inch 3-pack. We need to get those for 17. Stretch. Okay, so it's this right here. What are these? Those are 36 at the brand's website. See, so JCPenney has these for, was it 27? What do we need to buy them for? 17. Yeah. So we're not gonna be able to use any like coupons. We can also use like some discounted gift cards if we're able to find the right items as well, but it's gonna be a pretty significant discount that we're gonna need there. See, this is $4 for these shirts that we came from. What was the price we needed? Yeah, we needed these for 19. Let's see. So right now these are 24 bucks. How much discounted gift card can we get today? So this is really important. It's just one of those ways to add extra profit margin to the work you're already doing. So for example, it looks like we can buy gift cards at 16% off today. Worst case, like 13% off. Basically, all we're going to do is we would go into these websites. You spend 100 bucks, you go into these websites. In this example, you get a 16% discount. So for every $84 we're spending, we're going to get $100 in JCPenney credit, which is basically going to increase our profit margin. So in this case, let's see, 24 bucks, we can get a 16% discount. So minus 16% right there. That is going to give us a $20 buy cost here. And this is also getting a little bit more interesting because I can see very recently the price has been like $43. That would definitely be something interesting. I can also see there's some FBM buy box popping up there. Even when the price was nice and high, I can see, yeah, people were still buying that at that price. Let's see if any of the other sizes are more expensive. Okay, cool. So the large is actually more expensive. You can see they've been selling like crazy lately. Let's see if it has a any FBM buy box friendliness to it though. We can see on the recent sales here, I'm not seeing too much on SellerAmp. I can see there actually is an FBM sale that happened just now on Keeper though. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. The reason why some of the stats might be different, I just like to look at both things when I'm looking for FBM items, is because the buy box is different depending on where you are in the country. So the data for the buy box is going to be different depending on how it's pulled basically. So in this case, I can get a second opinion and see that this is buy box friendly at 43 bucks. We know we're getting these for, I think it was like 2050, 2012, something like that after our discount. Let's just plug it back in just so I remember. So minus 16%. Yeah, 2016. This is an $8 profit. What does this weigh? A pound and a half. half. All right, let's keep that in mind. Let's go to the FBM calculator. A pound and a half is probably going to cost us around $9 to $10. So $9, we're making a 30% ROI. $10 shipping right there, we're making $5 profit. A lot of times it is pretty similar, honestly, to the FBA fees that you're going to pay in terms of like the FBM cost that you would ship out to Amazon. So I might honestly be overestimating how much that this would cost to FBM ship. I always just like to err on the side of caution, but I'd probably go ahead and pick some of these up as well. These seem nice and FBM friendly. Let's see what else we can find though. So let's try like Stafford. I know Stafford is auto ungated for a lot of new sellers. So let's see, we got some shirts here, some underwear. All right, let's dig in on those. So what are these pulling up at? So these are pulling up at 22. We can get those for 15. Even with our 16% discount, we're not going to get there. We can get these for, okay, we could be onto something here. So what is this, a 4-pack? I think those are slightly different. It's a 4-pack versus a 3-pack. Yeah, I don't know if anyone would really be too upset if they're getting an extra shirt. But see, those are all white too. Those have some different colors and stuff on it. Let's see, we got some of these underwear, something like that here. These are, okay, this might be some of these for 15, which I think is pretty close, right? See, so $15. Yeah, and these are $14.25. So with our discounted gift card, that's going to be profitable. Let's see if they are buy box friendly though. So let's check 2 different opinions here. Seems like on Keep, I see a lot of blue up on top. Those are FBM sales. And then on SellerAmp, I see a couple weeks ago, there was an FBM sale. Yeah, I'm seeing some FBM sales on both. So yeah, this definitely seems FBM buy box friendly. So 15 times 0.86 also works. That's how I like to do it. You can also just subtract the percentage sign. Let's see. So we're picking up for $12.90. What do they weigh? 1.2 pounds. Let's plug that into our calculator. It's probably going to cost us around $8, maybe $7 to ship, somewhere around there. And yeah, that meets our kind of ideal ROI standard. So 35 ROI or more. Yeah, that looks pretty solid to me. So yeah, finding lots of good kind of FBM buy box friendly listings here. So let's see if there's anything else, maybe even a different size of those different ASINs. No, they just have it listed. They've done 2 different SKUs is what that means. Since it's the same ASIN listed twice, they've just sourced it multiple times and still have a couple rounds of stock. So they probably started selling one of them, restocked it on a different SKU is what usually happened there. So a lot of FBM sourcing. So basically, if you've done much Amazon product sourcing before or watching in the videos, it's pretty similar. Just one quick extra step of checking the buy box rotation on SellerAmp, sometimes on Keepa as well, and just understanding if that's going to be nice and buy box friendly, plugging in a quick cost estimate into the FBM calculator and everything looks good to go. Then buy that item, and it's the second that item shows up at your doorstep, get it listed on Amazon, and then you can actually be making sales way faster than an FBA seller. So you're getting that proof of concept, you're getting profit rolling in a lot faster. So if you guys found this helpful and you're going to use it to find lots of profitable items, make sure you use a 2-week free trial of SellerAmp down below. Start sourcing those items. Let us know if you have any questions, comments, anything like that. We're always happy to help you guys down below in the comment section. And if you want to see even more info on product research, go ahead and click this video right here and we'll find some more winning products together.